Hello there. Start the paradigm. I don't plan on this being a very long review, but I've had this saber for a while and I figured I'd show it off. I bought this from Sidious Sabers. They're based in England. And it's apparently a Korbanth Sithplanet OWK neopixel with a Proffie board, probably a 2.2. It's been fully upgraded. The Sithplanet seems to have this little salt shaker type pommel, and the other thing I noticed is it doesn't have the word graphics on the clamp card here. Currently it's only installed with the standard fonts. I don't have a laptop equipped to allow me to update any of the fonts. I'm spending all my money on health. Doesn't leave too much room for upgrading my laptop, and that's fine with me. I mean, I don't really spend too much time updating fonts and whatnot, and I'm kind of a purist when I receive sabers. Sometimes I have to update fonts, but for the most part, I've got other things to do, and I'm just happy to have a very, very screen accurate Obi-Wan hilt in my collection. And I just watched Star Wars Rebels Twin Suns. I think that's what the name of the episode is called. And that's the episode where the final reckoning between Maul and Obi-Wan. So that's kind of the impetus for this video. So I'm just going to show you this thing. It's pretty screen accurate. I'm not the perennial expert on these things. For more higher degree of expertise, you'll probably want to check Sidious's channel. But nonetheless, this is a very, very beautiful representation of Obi-Wan's hilt. It has a little clamp card, a little bubble strip from the calculator. I saw a video that explained where all these pieces originated from. I don't remember most of it. We're talking engine parts and kitchen sinks, and of course this is called a grenade section because this originated from a grenade. A British grenade. This is some kind of part from a engine or something from an airplane. I'm not too sure. It's a fairly heavy piece. It clocks in at about 11¼ inches. And, when you first get your hands on one of these things, you marvel at how uncomfortable it feels in your hand. But to be perfectly honest, these heavier and more uncomfortable hilts, festooned with, control boxes and clamp cards and things like that. I've actually grown quite used to this thing. And I was actually just outside fiddling with it. One thing I do want to show you is this is how you gain access to the kill key by removing this. Pommel also removes, but this is the best way to do it. And currently the kill key is out, but the kill key is there. And the micro SD card is in there, if you can see it. And of course, there's the speaker. It's a fairly loud saber for such a small, teeny tiny speaker. And it's a little bit of a fingerprint magnet. It tends to develop stains here on its own. So this is on its way to sort of weathering itself just naturally through oxidization. It just tends to want to. You can kind of see the oxidization happening in here, and I'm fine with that. It doesn't have to be pristine. I'm told that this part is actually loose because on the original movie prop it was actually loose, so that's why it's loose on here. I thought it was a malfunction at first, but this is actually intended, so that's kind of cool in a weird sort of way. Turn the saber on. There's that button. This button gives you your blaster block. And your lock up. Turn it off. You hold this. You get background music. Hold that to turn it off. Change fonts. Give you the Smooth Jedi. So yeah, it has a whole slew of the, the standard default teensy fonts and profiles. There's your blade or your battery check right there. Most of the, other than the rainbow fonts, most of them are kind of defaulted to a blue, which is, convenient. There's one font.
Smooth gray.
I think it's this one. No, it's not this one. I like this one. We'll get there. I like this one. Now, you can do color changing by holding this button. Whoops, or it's this one. There you go. You hold that one, tap that one, and you get your color changing, if you're so inclined. And you lock it in by reversing the process. So there's a lot of crazy default fonts on here. Nothing you haven't heard before. I would definitely like to have the fonts upgraded at some point, but it's not really a priority for me anyway. Now, one thing that is a total pain in the butt with this saber is that in order to access the blade retention screw to remove the blade, now there is actually a center piece that kind of sticks out with the pins on it. And the way the blade is designed, it actually has the pin sets, or it's not the pin set, but I guess the receiving end of the pin set. The connector is recessed into the blade. So you have to kind of insert it into a bit of a slot, and then it makes connection inside the blade. In order to access that, you have to actually get in there and unscrew the emitter portion, and that, will come off that way. You gain access to the blade retention screw. You can loosen the blade, get it on there, and reverse the process. But I find that once you have this on here, it's on to stay. The connection, when I connected everything, was pretty firm. But because the blade holders, there's such a lack of depth, and there's only the one blade retention screw holding that on. As you swing this around, the blade does have a tendency to kind of move a bit inside the holder. Not a whole lot, but just enough to be aware of. I did at one point have a bit of an issue with the connection was, for some reason, wasn't quite there. But I haven't had any problem with it since I picked this up and recharged it and played with it a few times and recharged it. And so I'm actually quite fond of this thing. It's just, having a very, very screen accurate Obi-Wan saber in my collection. I have a few. I mean, I have the Redeemer. I have the Aurora by Electrum Sabercrafts. I consider that to be an Obi-Wan saber. So that's pretty much it. What I would like to get one of these days is I'd love to get a fully weathered version of this hilt, because, as I've mentioned, Sidious has quite a few of these. And the weathered, screen accurate weathering is kind of one of the all-time in demand, or it would sort of be the highlight of my collection. A lot of people tend to go for the Luke Hero type of sabers. I'm an Obi-Wan kind of guy. I don't know. I've always liked Obi-Wan more than Luke, and since with the prequels and with Clone Wars and Rebels, I just really feel like the character of Obi-Wan Kenobi has been fleshed out so much more than the character of Luke Skywalker. And I mean, I love Luke Skywalker, of course, but Obi-Wan he seems a more complete character, and I've always had kind of an affinity for his particular brand of saber. I like all of his versions. The thin neck, of course, being my favorite and the one that I would have probably the most representative versions of it in my collection. Yeah, I really do love this saber. I'm glad I purchased it. I got a pretty decent price from JQ Sabers for it, and yeah, I would definitely like to have more, but the money's kind of limited at the moment. So anyway, I'm just going to kind of give you the visual tour real quick. You can ask me a bunch of questions about this, but I'm not really an expert. I don't know how to install fonts. I've never been able to do it. Like I said, my computer is woefully outdated, so I haven't even had a chance to even learn how to do that yet. And so there's only so much information I can give you on this thing. But I figured it was high time that I show this thing off, and that opens the avenue to do a bit of a few comparison videos. My Aurora, as I mentioned before, is sort of a super futuristic version of Obi-Wan's saber, highly stylized, but the speaker has been kind of not working on that saber for quite some time. But I'm working with Electrum Sabercrafts, and they're going to be sending me a new speaker for that, so hopefully it'll be up and running again in the near future, and I can do a comparison. And of course I have a Saberforge Redeemer, so I'll probably do a little bit of a comparison with that. Anyway, so yeah, there you go. There's my Korbanth Sithplanet Obi-Wan Kenobi saber from episode 4. Oh, and I'm sure everyone has seen this, but if you haven't seen SC38, it's the reimagine. It's the I guess you'd call it a fan-made reinterpretation of Vader and Obi-Wan's Death Star, fight to the death. If you haven't seen it, I have to assume that most people have, but if you haven't, it's requisite watching, as is Clone Wars, as is Star Wars Rebels, because I'm finishing up Star Wars Rebels this weekend, and that series just blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind. Some really good stuff. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. I hope you enjoyed well, my little review of sorts of this saber, and I hope everyone is having a wonderful Labor Day weekend. And if you can subscribe to my channel, that'd be very, very helpful. Almost at 1,000. And then we'll see what the future holds, and like or dislike, whatever your preference is of this video, and I'll see you guys next time with some more content. You take care now, and may the Force be with you all. Bye.